I just want to share a very, very quick video of what I think you can do when either a training run or training block isn't going right, or a race doesn't meet your expectations. Now, for me, I want to run sub 40 in a 10K. Yesterday, I think I ran 41:30. That didn't meet my expectations. You've got now a choice in this situation. You can argue with reality. I should have run better. I could have run better. But the reality is that you didn't. You can be like a tree that doesn't bend in the wind. That gets broken. Or you can ask this simple question. So out of 10, what would you give that run? Now, the weird bit was my brain came back with 7 or 8. So that was the first thing. That my arguing with reality of what I wanted versus what I got actually was making me feel worse than my actual assessment of myself. But when my brain came back with 8, I thought, that's actually better than I feel. So I started to feel better about it all quite quickly. And I said to myself, what would I have to do differently to get it to a 9? Get that race to a 9? And the reply in my head was, well, first of all, you've got to realize you didn't have a perfect training block coming up to this. And some of you that watch my videos will know, sadly, my dad passed away in August. I wasn't that well, not hospitalized or anything, but I wasn't that well in October and yet again in December. Obviously, cause and effect with my dad. Went to go back training in January, hurt my back in January. I didn't really get back into training really till late February. And that was off the back of not really having much training before that. And this is one thing I share with my runners. Most runners overestimate what they can do in one training block. So say 3 months or more. And massively, massively underestimate what they can do in 1 to 2 training blocks. So what they can do in a year or 2 years. So when I ran the 10K last year, I nearly hit sub 40, but it was off the back of probably a year or 2 years good training. This actually came off the back of probably 3 months training and not doing much running over the last 4 months. So when I looked at it, I thought, what I need is more time. There wasn't a lot wrong with the training I'd done. There wasn't a lot wrong in anything I'd done. It just wasn't enough time. I wasn't at the right point. And that was okay. So what I would suggest, if when you're training and you have a bad session or a bad week, or you're having a hard block or a bad race, ask yourself that question. Say to yourself, ask myself, the moment out of that training run or race, how would I rate it for its purpose? Try not to give yourself 5. So say you say 6. What would you have to do differently to get it to a 7 or an 8? And that way, it takes you out of arguing with the reality, but brings you back more into process. So it brings you back into doing. And it brings you back into what can I do differently? Now, that's a question you get asked a lot. People get asked and they go, But by putting a number to it, it brings you back to where you are, where you want to go, what's the gap, and what do you have to do differently? Now, if you don't know what you need to do differently, then that's where you need some help. I mean, you might think this is a pitch for coaching. That's what I'm doing. I know what I need to do differently. But if I didn't, I'd get some help to at least have somebody to speak to know what I need to do differently. Because to finish the video, the one thing you don't want to do is say, I'm at a 6. I don't know what I need to do to get me to an 8. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to do, expecting it to change. Because said out loud, that sounds like madness. But believe you me, A lot of people are doing that. I know people that are doing that. Oh, that didn't work. I feel bad about that. I moan about that on Strava. I'm not fast enough. I'm not getting what I get. I'm burning out at an end of a race. So I'm too slow. I'm too this. I'm too that. They're not asking the question I've outlined. And even if they are, the answer is, I don't know. And then they're just carrying on doing the same thing, but expecting something different to happen. Which, when you say it out loud to a video, sounds like madness. But I would say about 80% of runners are doing exactly that in some shape or form and expecting things to change, and they won't. So hopefully this has helped. It definitely helps me. It helped me feel better about the run. It helped me look at it and use it as a useful way of moving myself forward instead of a way as a stick to beat myself. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, I'd love to hear comments, what your thoughts are, or give us a like or subscribe or do whatever you want to do. Or just keep watching the videos. That's great that you're watching the videos. Anyway, bye for now.